All right.
Excuse me, man. Thank you.
I wanted to tell you that too, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jordan Taylor, sitting here underneath the lights on a Tuesday afternoon. Got some fellas on side of me. Introduce yourself, fellas. Go ahead.
Keith Crozier from Port Barry.
Gary Swallow from Port Barry.
Isaac Hayes from Henderson, Louisiana.
How about that, fellas? We got a jam-packed show. 3 great co-hosts sitting alongside of me. We got Lloyd making everything possible in the back of the room. Thank you for Lloyd for coming on down and being our executive producer tonight. Holly with the lights in the jam-packed studio here, Tuesday night edition at Gary Swallow's Taekwondo Martial Arts here in Opelousas, Louisiana. How's it going tonight, fellas?
Good.
It's awesome.
Doing good, man.
Are y'all ready to talk some high school football?
Most definitely.
Let's start.
Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like, hit the share it to some groups, share it to your buddy, tag some people in the post, and let's get the word out that we have some picks to make. Let's get the word out that we had a big matchup Sunday that we're going to recap.
Right.
Let's get the word out that we have a lot of football ahead of us. Before we go any further, I'm going to turn things over to the man sitting to the right of us. He's going to open up the show with prayer. So before we go any further, Isaac Hayes, Henderson, Louisiana, is going to open up the show with prayer tonight.
All right, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here tonight, Lord. We know that the most important thing in this world isn't sports, but just to come here and to gather together as men to talk about sports and just have a good time of fellowship, Lord. We just thank you for that. Lord, we pray that tonight this show will be blessed and that will encourage, Lord, everyone that is listening. Lord, let everyone Lord, educate into their school, and Lord, bless us tonight, Lord God, and thank you for what you're doing on Under the Lights. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you so
sir.
much,
No problem.
Isaac Hayes, for opening up the show with prayer. Let's get things going, fellas. I'm going to jump straight into shout-outs and kicking us off for the shout-outs. AYS down in Hammond, Louisiana has a great thing going. Check them out on Facebook or Twitter. Also, you can check him out on other platforms. Also, he has 2 fellow people that are doing stuff. Morning Joe, Mondays and Wednesdays in the morning, and Just Recruiting with Jonathan Ripken, Tuesdays and Thursdays. AYS, you can catch them Monday through Friday and the night edition. So check them out on Facebook. The Boot Sports with Mr. Terrell Weil. Mr. Terrell has the Boot Sports. You can check their website out. You can also check out their Facebook page. And new podcast has started, 6 episodes in Talking Tigers. You can check that out on the Facebook page also. Tiger Rocks Martial Arts. This man right here is going to take things over and talk to us about his business.
Tiger Rock Martial Arts. It's men, women, and children of all ages that get together to learn ancient art of Taekwondo as well as other martial arts. Been around for the Opelousas and Acadiana area really for over 30 years and enjoying every minute of it. So if y'all interested in that, give me a call. You'll never regret it.
Gyro Sports Photography down in Point Capee, Louisiana Parish. I messed that one up, but it's all right. Down in the Point Capee Parish, Gyro Sports Photography. Get with Grant Gyro down in the Point Capee area. Grant Gyro does a great job taking amazing photos. You should see that photo he took of the rain and the lights this past weekend. I'm about to show you after the show. Did you get a chance to look at it?
It was good.
I seen it on the Facebook page.
Yeah. Great stuff from Grant Gyro. Check him out on his Facebook page, Gyro Sports Photography, all things in the Point Capee area. In the Zone Photography with Rusty Amo, St. Landry Parish area. I believe Rusty will be live at the Pillsbury and Pine Prairie game this coming week. So if you got a kid that is playing for either team, get with Rusty in the Zone Photography. Check him out on Facebook. Brothers Just Searching, turning things over to Mr. Isaac Hayes now. Talk to us about your podcast, brother, and mention your producer.
Oh, I can't forget about my producer. He's my best friend, been best friends since we were young. And Brothers Just Searching is a podcast dedicated talking about the Bible and current world events. A lot of people want to know what the Bible says, what it means. We break it down. We also have debates that, I say debates, conversations. I'm going to say it like that. We got a young man coming on next week. He's going to be talking different views than what we believe in, and we're just gonna have a good conversation on there. And that's what it's about, just searching in God's words for the truth and looking for answers. Also, there's sometimes we have opinions of what's going on in the world today, and we just go ahead and talk about everything from the president to down to our local leaders. So go check us out, brother. Just searching on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. If you have any questions, go look us up on Facebook, Brothers Just Searching, and send me a message. We'll respond to you as quick as we can.
Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it. Everything you do, and enjoy your podcast. You had us on one day, and I greatly appreciate for you giving us a shot
No problem.
in this journey.
I'm going to say this, Brothers Just Searching, UTL is the official Brothers Just Searching sports source. So that's what I say every time we mention you.
Crate Airs Promotions. Got a buddy of mine that hit me up yesterday. Jordan, I wanna give y'all my business. I don't want to go through anybody else. He said, I enjoy what y'all do, so I want to give my business to y'all. Brother hit me up, and so we got him hooked up with Crate Airs Master Promotions with Holly and her mother and all those good folks, and he's going to get him a set of hats going for his company. Crate Airs has done our hats, so we greatly appreciate Crate Airs Master Promotions with Holly and others, and you can check them out, their website, and also you can check them out in Opelousas, Louisiana on Crestwell Lane. Go Preps on Facebook. You can check out Go Preps. Go Preps, I'm not sure if you know the guy, but Go Preps, he does a lot of great things for the high school sports, rankings, schedules, teams that need open dates. But Go Preps, second time in a row he's been affected by the hurricane, so we want to keep him in our prayers. He's the owner of Go Preps, and he's from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Right. So he's got hit twice. He had to evacuate twice, so we want to keep him in our prayers.
Definitely.
At this time. His name is Hunter Bauer, fellas. Hunter Bauer.
All right. We will do.
Also, live stream play-by-play. That's what we do when we're not interviewing people, when we're not making game picks. We are live stream play-by-play source. Got to go to a big game last weekend. Have covered 4 games so far this year, and it's been a blast so far. Looking forward to seeing where we're going Thursday night. Friday night going to Pillsbury versus Pine Prairie, and Saturday just confirmed Basil and what's their names? Oh man, out of Lake Charles. I don't forgot the school name, but Basil and that team will be playing Saturday at 5.
Oh, really? Wow.
So get to go do that game. Sam Bacon, let me know who y'all playing in the comments. And yep. So live stream play-by-play. Anybody needs to live stream play-by-play, hit us up. Basil, Grand Lake, 5 p.m. Saturday. Pillsbury, Pine Prairie, 7 p.m. Friday night. Thursday to be determined. Okay. Turning things over to you, my man. Your business, Mouton Sand and Gravel out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Let us know what it's all about.
Well, I work for Jason Mouton Sand and Gravel. We're at the intersection of Mall Street and Pont de Mouton. We sell limestone, we sell gravel, we sell dirt, sand, all that stuff. Go ahead and give us a call. I don't have the number right in front of me, but if you go ahead and look up Mouton Sand and Gravel on Google, you can go ahead and give them a call. Also, while we're on that subject of gravel and stuff, my dad is the pastor of Cordons Full Gospel Church, but also owns a business in the same area, Hayes' Dump Truck Service. He does all over. He goes to Bro Bridge, Cecilia, all the surrounding areas of Lafayette. His number is 852-8043. Go ahead and give them a call. Us or Moutons, we'll be glad to help y'all at Mouton Sand and Gravel. If we can't get to it, go ahead and contact Hayes' Dump Truck Service as well. It'll work too.
Turn around.
Cajun Carts.
Kitchen carts.
Turn around. Cajun Carts, executive producer tonight. You can find Cajun Carts on Facebook. Their phone number is 337-896-3411. Catch Cajun Carts with Mr. Lloyd that's producing our show. Cajun Carts. Go check them out. Keith Crochet, I heard we have some horse races coming this weekend. What can
Yes.
you speak on some horse
We
races?
have 3 nights, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. 10 races Thursday night. Races start at 5:35. 10 races Friday night at the same time. And this has kind of surprised me. This is a little unusual, but they got 15 races Saturday night. They're starting at 4:30. So go on over there. You can go over and watch the races. I did speak with someone at the track. You can go out. I'm sure there's the 6 feet distancing and stuff like that. But you can go out and watch the quarter horse racing. This is a lot of fun. I prefer quarter horse races than the thoroughbreds, but that's me. But they go a lot faster.
Yeah. You're right.
Want to give a special happy birthday shout out to Mr. Billy Wright in Addis, Louisiana, Bruley, Louisiana. Billy Wright, happy birthday from all of us.
Yep.
Have a good one, brother. Big 50. Big 50.
Still young, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's just a recycled teenager.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's talk about headlines from last week, from this week. Saints are in talks with LSU, fellas. What can
Yeah.
y'all speak on about that? Who wants to jump on that one?
Well, I just saw it for the first time today on Facebook, of course. You know, everybody know, and I actually kind of investigated it a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, that would be the best thing in the world. You know, New Orleans is giving the Saints a hard time, not letting anybody go in the dome. You know, with no fans. I think that would not only help the Saints and it'll help us to get out and support our teams. You know, so that's really exciting to me.
As for saying helping the Saints, look, I believe it was 2 weeks ago when they played the Packers, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers did a hard count on the Saints that you see on the road.
Right.
He did that in the dome.
Yeah.
And they said if that stadium was filled,
You wouldn't have been able to hear nothing.
he wouldn't have been able to done the hard count.
No.
But because no one was there. So I'd rather some fans causing havoc for the other quarter, because Herbert last night threw 4 touchdowns. I believe it was over 300 yards in the dome. You never hear of a opposing quarterback
I've
doing that
noticed
in the
that
dome.
a lot of more away teams are either winning games or the games are a lot closer because there's not a whole lot of fans in the.
There's
no
no
fans
advantage.
or there's less fans in the stands.
And even at
So-
25, Tiger Stadium holds 119,000, I believe.
102.
102. So 25% of that is almost 20,000, 30,000 fans. So that's still a lot of fans to make some noise out there.
Let's jump into LSU, Florida for a minute. LSU will travel to Gainesville, Florida, Saturday. Big news out of Gainesville, 19 COVID tests for Florida. What are y'all hearing about the Florida Gators and the LSU Tigers this week?
Say it's up in the air.
Right, that's
I
what
mean-
I heard too.
There's a couple positive tests, but they're not giving us exact totals of. They got the people who were tested positive, but they're not. If they're false positives or whatever, because they're becoming a lot of false positives, and they test them the next day or 2 days later or whatever, and it's a negative. So it's kind of one of them deals.
Put Barry baseball team is selling football squares for LSU, Alabama. Go get your squares from contact a coach, a player. Find us on Facebook, Put Barry Baseball. get some squares from us. Thank you. Big news out of Point Capee, fellas. Not sure if y'all heard this, but you're about to. LSU offers scholarship to Matthew Langlois from Catholic of Point Capee.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
So, congratulations to Matthew Langlois. Big news there out of Point Capee. Final headline that I'm going to bring up. Acadiana, after a big win, is now ranked 79th in the nation. They just cracked the top 100 out of the nation. What can you speak on Acadiana cracking top 100 in the nation?
All I can say is well deserved. When we went and watched them play against a powerhouse, and I'm gonna tell you right now, they played a very good ball game, won the game, and I'm gonna tell you they deserve it. That team and that coaching staff has their things together. The tradition is continuing through the younger generations.
And the unique thing is, I was watching a little story earlier before I came over here. Their defensive back from last year is now their quarterback. Mm-hmm. So they have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, and they were talking to the quarterback and then asking him which position he wanted to play. He said he'd rather play defense. But, yeah, he's a real good offensive player and a sense of quarterback. He's got two colleges talking to him now. He mentioned the colleges, but I didn't catch him. But he preferred, toward the end of the interview, he said, I prefer defense. And some of them do, some of them don't. But it's amazing what kind of talent they have in the Acadiana area to be able to pull a defensive back and put him in as a starting quarterback and him beating John Curtis.
Right.
That's
it shows that
they're
so talented that their parts are interchangeable to where you can take a defensive back, put him at quarterback, you can take a quarterback, put him at defensive back or a running back or wide receiver or whatever. They're so talented at that.
Look at Kevin Folk.
Most definitely,
Well, let's listen to what the legend JT Curtis had to say after Sunday's game.
You wanted against a quality program. Well, there's no doubt. They're the #1 team in the state for a reason. They just dominated in the third and the first part of the fourth quarter, and we got to find a way to overcome some injuries that we had, and some of the young guys have got to step up and make plays for us. So against a team like this, you grow up in a hurry, and I think that's going to benefit us in the long run.
Losing Linus obviously hurt against their offensive front and how hard they dive.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Losing him, and of course he's a high-quality player, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back. But again, a lot of young guys had a lot of opportunity to test themselves. We'll look at this film. We'll get better from this game.
You know how other people feel now. When you only get 6 snaps in a quarter and don't touch the ball until the end, that's what you normally do to people.
That's right. That 15-yard penalty really hurt us. Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't seen the film, and hopefully it was a good call. But that, to me, was kind of the turning point for us not to get an opportunity to get the ball back and maybe do something with it.
Last but not least, out of the fire and into the frying pan, right?
Oh, yeah,
no
doubt.
Right?
Yeah, it's a completely different type team. His team that throws it all over the field. They got 10 offensive starters back. It'll be a challenge for us, but we're going to have to find a way to rise and meet it.
Thank you, Coach.
Good, thank you.
That was JT Curtis from John Curtis High School speaking after the 21-13 loss on Sunday afternoon to the Acadiana Wrecking Rams. And now I'm going to put on the interview from head coach from Acadiana Wrecking Rams to talk about the win after Sunday's contest.
Now, McCullough, obviously a big win here today. Just the opportunity to play was huge. But again, facing a team of this caliber to come here and play the way you played, particularly in the second half, had to be enthralling to you.
Yeah, it was good to see. The question what type of shape we're in. Games like this are great for both teams. I think it's going to help them just as much as it's going to help us. And I was glad to see our guys come out in the second half and really fight against what I think is a really good football team.
What changed at halftime, in your mind?
Well, I just think that we had a few execution things in the first half. I thought we had a couple drives. The difference is we finished the drives. We had some drives. We went down and scored once. We had a couple drives where they came up and they're a good team and they made some plays. And we were just able to finish the first 2 drives of the second half. they got worn down a little bit, and just a tough, hard-nosed football game. It's what you would expect if Katie Anna and John Curtis are playing.
Talk about the resilience of your program to be able to do this after what happened this past weekend and without power and not even knowing you can make it here.
Well, these kids have had so many different adjustments, so much stuff this year. They just want to play, and it was a little crazy. We didn't do anything Thursday or Friday. We had to go in the locker room on Saturday and Sunday with flashlights and get our stuff out, but they wanted to come over and play, and they deserve that for all the work they put in over the last 5 or 6 months. So, I was just glad that JT and John Curtis would play us, and I thought it was a good game. I think it's going to help both of us down the road.
You've only got, 4 games left after this, correct?
We've got 4. We got 4 left, but the good news is we got 3 more in a row, and then we got 8 and 9 where we don't have a game right now, and then week 10. So we do have a few in a row. Hopefully it's something, maybe we can fill a few of those bye dates at some point, but that's the goal. We got 4 scheduled, though.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
That was head coach from Acadiana High School talking about his team facing adversity, having to go in their locker rooms with flashlights, fellas, because of Hurricane Delta that passed through. What a resilient group he has. And what can you say about the Wrecking Rams? Short notice, go and play a championship caliber team year in, year out. How about them Wrecking Rams, fellas?
Yeah, that's going to boost their attitude and their confidence for sure.
And I'm going to tell you, that game basically stood up to the hype that it was at. You had the 2 power veer offenses that basically went at each other. It was awesome. It was an awesome game.
And wasn't it, if I remember correct, I wasn't there with y'all guys, but I was watching a live stream. Did the Wrecking Rams miss the field goal to seal the game, and then they stopped John Curtis on the way back? So their defense stood up when needed, and that's defense wins championships because you could put up points, but if the other team's putting up the same amount of points or putting up more, your offense, high-power offense, is worthless. But that defense stood up when it needed to.
Correct.
Couldn't
I'll agree with you on that. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, I got some stats here, fellas. I'm going to read you the stats, and then I'm going to get your thoughts on this, okay? First half total yards for both teams. John Curtis, 167 yards in the first half. Acadiana Wrecking Rams, 119, okay? Going to the second half, Acadiana, 189 yards. Curtis, 60 yards.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Where are we at? John Curtis had the ball for 1 total minute in the third quarter. Yeah. Time of possession in the second half. Acadiana, 19 minutes and 53 seconds. John Curtis, 4 minutes and 7 seconds. A little taste of their own medicine.
Yeah.
Exactly right. That's usually what Curtis does to everybody. Well, Acadiana showed them.
We got to turn it around on them this time. I think the offensive and the defensive coordinators got together and said, look, we see what they got. Now we're going to throw in the real game plan and go from there.
Right.
Here's the touches, total plays in the second half. Acadiana, 35 plays in the second half. John Curtis, 13, and they got majority of that 13 on that final drive.
Wow.
Yep.
You don't see that against a John Curtis team.
No.
John Curtis has been top dog since I was in high school, and that's back in the 80s. They've always been a powerhouse for 30 years or more.
Yeah. And back in the day, and this is many years, the John Curtis was the team that everybody wanted to play and to beat. I mean, I've watched certain teams beat them. I remember playoffs.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that stadium was packed with people to watch them. It's their amazing program.
Yep. So we will touch a little bit on the game down the road after we make some picks, fellas.
I got something that popped up on my little screen here a few minutes ago. The Jets just released Le'Veon Bell.
Wow.
Yep, saw that.
Really?
I saw that before we went live. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So we'll see where he lands in the next couple of days.
He's got some history in his past.
Yeah. He better land somewhere. I got him in fantasy. Here's some key players from around the area that had some big games on this past week that are in voting for Acadiana Player of the Week.
Oh, wow.
DeMonte Phillips from Lafayette, 13 carries, 144 yards, 3 touchdowns. Braxton Gilbo from Southside, 2 field goals made. One was 38, one was 47. 3 punts were down inside the 20-yard line.
Got a leg on
Jacob Manuel, Turlings, had a sack, tackle for loss, and a forced fumble. Traylon Prejean from Karen Crow, 150 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. Walker Howard from St. Thomas More, the LSU commit, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Oh, wow.
In the route of Walker. So, that is all I have for headlines, news. I have game picks ready to go. Sam Bacon says, let's see. Sam Bacon says the Battle of the Veer, Wrecking Rams comes out on top. Michael Gagliano, I can't say his name right. Chalmette versus John Ehret this weekend for the district lead. So let's pick that game also. So going across the room, we will start left to right on these picks. Okay,
That's fine.
that's cool. The big dogs in 5A. Indiana Rams, they're 2-0. They're gonna play a Southside team that pushed Karen Crow's panic button towards the end. It was 30-27, less than a minute left. Acadiana, Southside, who gets this win?
Acadiana.
Acadiana. See, I like Acadiana also. I think Acadiana will not get beat in the regular season. Now, when we get in the playoffs, we have to see how the seeding looks for the playoff brackets.
Yeah.
But in the regular season, I think they're going to go undefeated.
I'm going to Acadiana also.
I have to go with Acadiana. Southside is I haven't really did too much look with them, but they're new. They
Second year.
yeah, I think they're second year. And Acadiana, as we said earlier, they're too experienced.
Yeah.
And they just come off that big win. It will be a major upset if Southside would win, but I doubt it. I doubt
See,
it.
I think Southside will score some points. But I don't think Southside's defensive line is ready for what's about to punch him in the mouth.
Right.
When you're talking about the quarter,
Southside too. So.
and you
I
talk,
think it's Acadiana senior night this week.
the senior night.
Yes.
and you're talking about the quarterback. I was thinking of that earlier. He was a lineman. You go try to hit that sucker, he ain't falling down easy.
Yeah.
So
He's gonna bounce.
He's gonna give
Yeah,
defense headache.
That 22, that number 2, and that number 4 that ran the rock Sunday. Watch out. Moving along, second game that we're going to pick. Basile versus Grand Lake. Sam Bacon, we're about to pick Basile. We're going to see if we're going to have a 4 across the board here. Basile, Grand Lake, ladies and gentlemen. And this one will be live streamed. Basile, Grand Lake, who you like?
Basile.
You like Basile?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I haven't seen either.
Because Stone Cold said so.
That's the way it is.
Oh yeah, let's talk Basile. Basile because Sam Bacon said barbecue Saturday.
Yeah, that's
right.
what he said.
Yeah.
He said barbecue will be waiting on you. I don't need barbecue, but I surely will take it. But I like Basile in this matchup. Didn't play last week because of the weather.
Right.
And this will be their first game in 2 weeks. So Basile all over Grand Lake. Who you like?
I feel the same way. Basile over Grand Lake. I think they're going to come out and, they prepared for it and they worked hard, and I think Coach is going to have them all ready.
Yeah, these kids deserve to play because especially with Elton not playing this season, that's going to be a week they lose. So it's tough for them kids losing weeks like that. And I'm glad Grand Lake can play Saturday after the hurricane that just passed through.
I'm gonna go with Sam Bacon. I'm gonna go with Basile. I don't have enough insight on both the games, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull for Basile. That's how I'm gonna say it like that.
Sam Bacon 4 across the board. Can't wait to see y'all Saturday afternoon. Westgate versus Denham Springs. Something's got to give in this matchup. Westgate upset by New Iberia out the gate and took their frustrations out on Tara a week ago. Denham Springs, a lot to play for, but currently sitting 0-2. Is this the week that Denham Springs gets that first win, or is Westgate's athletes just too good?
I'll go with Denham Springs.
You like Denham Springs?
They lost a player this year
Yep.
during practice,
Right.
and I think the emotions got to them the first couple games. And I think they might be playing for him, but they're also got their nerves settled down.
Right.
Everything's kind of situated. I'm going to give it to Denham Springs just for him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we did that last week,
Right.
and it burned us. But our prayers are still with Denham Springs every week that Denham
Yeah.
Springs takes the field.
All right.
My heart leans towards Westgate this week. I think Westgate will have out-athlete them in the end. I think a deep ball or something in the special teams area will be the difference here. Westgate finds a way.
I agree with you on that, Jordy. My heart kind of wants to see Denham Springs, come out on top and do this, but I'll be honest, I think, Westgate's going to come out on top. I
Yeah.
think it's just the athletes are just they're there.
well, yeah, that's probably it. I have family member, well, I have a daughter-in-law that used to live in Denham Springs, but Westgate's always had a decent team.
Right.
And like I said, they might be playing on emotions right now.
Right.
They haven't really come off of that because it hurts when you lose someone like that. So.
No, most definitely tragic way like that.
Sam Bacon, Holden Lee, each game we do, put who you like in the comments. Keep putting them in who you like in the comments.
Like Sammy.
Isaac.
Man, just hearing that matchup, that's Denham Springs and Westgate, two fine schools. I have to go with Westgate. I think Westgate pulls it off. Westgate's been a strong school for a while now, and like you said, it's a tragedy. It does hurt, and sometimes it motivates them to play harder. But when I heard that, I said Westgate's going to take it all the way.
Yeah.
Moving along to a very good 2-0 Rain team this year. Rain looks like they have what it takes to make a little push, but they're going to run into a Dutchtown football team this weekend. Rain versus Dutchtown. Christian and Macy, if you're watching, wait till you hear my pick.
I'm going to go with Dutchtown. Just because they were in the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken, toward the end. They didn't last too long, but I just think that Rain's going to come up against something that they're not going to be able to figure out.
Yep. Rain has a date with Eunice coming up, and I can't wait to see that matchup. I think that might be next week. I could be wrong. But I like Dutchtown this week. I think Dutchtown has a little too much for the Wolves.
I agree with Jordy. I think Dutchtown's going to, just be a little bit too much for the Wolves. I'm like you. I'm kind of waiting to see what that Eunice, game is going to look like.
I'm going to be the outspoken one in there. Never underestimate anybody. And if Dutch is coming in there saying, well, look, this is an easy game, Rain's going to come out with something special. I think Rain's going to pull off this victory. He's going to put an upset.
Oh, wow.
Nice,
Good
Isaac.
job. There you go.
Well, let's see you pick this one.
Uh-oh.
Sam Bacon, I'm ready to hear this response. Pissed off John Curtis football team.
Uh-oh.
It does not get easy. The road does not get easy. Do you know who they're playing this week?
No, I'm not really.
All right. Sit up in your chair.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
John Curtis looks to bounce back, but the road does not get easier, folks. They welcome in the same stadium we were at on Saturday.
Yep.
They're going to welcome in, drum roll please, the four Pete state champs, Edna Core
Really?
Cougars.
Yes.
Oh, my
The team that's going for the 5 Pete this week will meet up with a pissed off John Curtis team. Two different offenses. John Curtis, Edna Carr. How do you pick this matchup? Edna Carr, if they're going to lose in the regular season, it would be this week.
This week, right.
If they lose at all. We said if they get past Catholic of Baton Rouge, they're not going to lose another game. We said they wasn't going to lose at all. and then the next week they get Curtis. So Edna Carr, hats off to you for going play big teams and not just settling with cupcake games where you just schedule and you just wait to the regular season before the playoffs before you finally play somebody. But hats off for them on their quest for a 5-peat,
So
back-to-back dates with two
They're going
powerhouse.
up in the rankings. They're in the division. They're going to go up to play John Curtis.
Yeah,
Well, this is a regular season
regular
game.
season game.
You
Is
know,
it a conference game then?
No,
No.
this is
Non-conference?
This is just to play.
Yep.
To get
Okay.
experience.
So Edna Carr 2-0, John Curtis 1-1. Like I said, pissed off Curtis team. Edna Carr is going on a quest for a 5-peat. Sam Bacon already said Carr by 14. So Keith, start us off.
I don't know what Edna Carr's offensive runs, but
Spread.
spread.
They done won 4 state championships in
I'm
a row,
going to go
Keith.
with Edna Carr.
They done won 4
think-
state
I don't
championships in a
care
row.
if they're going up, down, around. If they're going up, they're just and if they could control them like Acadiana did, keep them off the field. They got a chance. They got a real good chance.
They won't keep them off the field because they score like that.
Yeah, you're right.
I think this is Edna Carr's team is better than last year's Edna Carr team.
Right, and we watched them in the dome do it. It was unbelievable.
And I think this year's Edna Carr team goes for a 5-peat.
I agree.
They will squeak by Curtis and a shootout. Expect both teams to be in 50 points. Expect both teams to be in
In other
50
words,
points.
The defense to stay on the
Yeah.
sidelines.
Correct.
Well,
Might as well be.
Edna Carr is my pick.
I'm gonna tell you,
Squeak.
I think Edna Carr is going to win again. Also, but I don't think it's going to be that close. I think that spread offenses. When you run the veer and you pound the ball down the field, and you got a wide open spread that can score in the blink of an eye,
Yeah.
I think that it's just.
Well,
I
was
think
listening-
it's going to be.
I was listening to
one-sided.
John Curtis's interview, and he said they were throwing it up and down the field on us. And
Right.
that was another veer team playing
Right.
the veer team. So if they can get their passes and keep them up and down the court, the floor, or the field, you're going to have the same thing you had last week.
Correct, and that's why I think Edna Carr is going to win. I don't know if it's going to be by a squeak or but I think it's going to be by at
Probably
least
about the same as it was
7 to
this week,
14
this past
points.
week. Yeah.
7 to 14 points.
Final score last year. It was final score last year. John Curtis 42, Edna Carr 39. 42. Yep, 42-39 final score last year. John Curtis
Down by
with the
field goal.
edge. Yep, so
Maybe special teams might come out in the thing, but I'm gonna tell you, I think
I don't know.
I think like you said, I think Edna
it's gonna be an up
Carr
and down the field.
is better this year than
Yeah.
they were last year.
you
So
like Isaac?
I'm gonna go with Edna Carr. The main reason is Acadiana last week. We was talking about that game. If Edna Carr saw how Acadiana controlled the ball,
Right.
that's going to be the key.
They're
Okay,
watching
because
they've watched every detail, especially in the third quarter.
Because I notice teams when they find your weakness, hey, keep
They
keep
exploit
getting
it
that
big
weakness
time.
until they fix it. So unless John Curtis fixes them weaknesses of the time of possession, Edna Carr is going to run all over
Yeah.
him. It's going to be a time. The time of possession is going to be a lot different unless John Curtis can go and say, "Hey, we're going to fix this problem." But I think Edna Carr is strong enough to
It's
beat
gonna be a
him.
good game. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be high scoring.
think
It's either going to be a blowout by one side, or like Jordan said, it's going to be a real tight game. It's
gonna be
where
a-
it's going to come down to the
It's going
wire.
to be a track meet,
Yeah.
folks.
right.
So
I'm not gonna put a final score on it, but I'm just gonna say it's either gonna be a blowout by one, or it's not gonna be this one's gonna take over. Then it's gonna be all these score
Right.
changes. It's hard to pick those two schools right there.
let's make a quick pick here around the board. No explanation. Just give me your pick. Opelousas High School versus Live Oak.
Upward side.
I like Live Oak.
Yeah, Live Oak, I think so.
Go with the home team, Opelousas.
Okay. All right. Surprising team this year, New Iberia, starting out 2-0, folks. They're going to be playing a really good Donaldsonville team. Do you jump on the bandwagon early, or do you have to let them prove themselves one more week? We will see who we have here. New Iberia, Donaldsonville.
No, Iberia.
New Iberia. I'm jumping on the bandwagon, Gary Swallow. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. New Iberia beat a really good Westgate team week 1 and then blew out a really good team week 2. New Iberia has my vote.
Yeah, I was kind of watching them a little bit last week. I think New Iberia is going to do it.
Who you got?
Iberia.
New Iberia.
Back into the 80s games.
Yeah.
Y'all ready for another great matchup on paper? Neville, state championships. West Monroe, state championships. 4A, one of the best in 4A, one of the best in 5A. Neville High School versus West Monroe High School. Who you like? Tell me why. Who wins this matchup between two giants?
I'm going to go with Neville. Just for their history.
You like Neville? I think Neville can keep it close, but I like West Monroe to win this matchup, and I think they have added motivation and are fueled by that week 1 game because they shut out Evangel 42-0 last week.
All right.
Whoa.
West Monroe is on a vengeance after the shocking loss to Karen Crow. I like West Monroe in this matchup.
I'm with you on that, man. I think West Monroe's got, they got humbled by Karen Crow. I hate to say it that way, but they did.
They ate crow.
They ate some crow. And I think they've just been on a tear. I think they just woke up a sleeping giant, and I think it's going to be West Monroe.
Yep. Ruston beat Neville last week in overtime also. Just to throw that stat out there. Acadiana meets Ruston in a couple weeks.
I'm gonna go West Monroe. Y'all sound like I'm not too familiar with both
Hey,
these
don't go with
teams.
us. Go-
No,
go-
the reason
go
I'm
where
saying
you
it
got.
is you bringing out stats. You bringing out West Monroe. Sound like they're the team
They got
that's
the more
strongest.
motivation.
Right.
behind them.
Spitting facts out here.
That's right.
Hey,
I'm thinking about it in my head.
well, you're supposed to do like a good journal, speak the facts, and we make our own minds up. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Coach Sal Diesel out of Beauchamp looks to bounce back this week after Abbeville put it on them last week. They're going to be playing Northside. Does Beauchamp have enough to beat a Northside football team with a bunch of athletes? That's the question.
Were they playing at Beauchamp or in,
I don't have it wrote down in
okay.
front of me, but Lafayette, Orneville, one of the two. They're
Yeah.
close. It's not a 4 bus drive.
I'm going to go with Northside.
You like Northside?
I just think he's got a lot. The football program's having some issues the past couple years, so he's got a lot to put up to
Yeah.
start over again.
I like Beauchamp only because of the turnover battle. If Beauchamp can win the turnover battle, because Northside, they're gonna chunk it. They're gonna air raid. If Northside throws 3 or more picks, I think Beauchamp has a good shot, and I think they will throw multiple picks this week. So I'm leaning towards Beauchamp, but they let me down last week.
Well, gut feeling for me is I think Northside's athletes will overpower Beauchamp. Yeah, more established. But I think now that's not anything against Coach DC. I think Coach DC's doing a decent job over there. He's having to rebuild a complete, program. But I think this week, Northside's athletes are just going to be too much for him.
Yep.
I gotta go with the Gators. They're hungry enough. They lost that game last week. They're ready for a game, and this giant, the Vikings come, and I think the Gators are just gonna go and pull it off.
My dog is speaking mascots now. There you go. You don't ever need to be behind the camera ever again.
We good.
Hold on. Before we go any further, we have a hometown team sitting right next to us that we're
right.
picking next.
Right.
Isaac Hayes, what is going on with the Bulldogs? That's right, huh? Bro Bridge?
I'm between Bro Bridge and Cecilia. I live right dab in the middle. That's
Okay.
why the Civil War so.
That's so important.
Yeah, believe it or not, my dad graduated from Cecilia. My mom went to Bro Bridge High. So
Well, tell me what the hell is going on with Bro Bridge. Can I say hell on live?
I said a lot of things during the live stream you didn't want to hear, man.
What is going on with Bro Bridge? Do you have some inside things? I talked to a guy that graduated from Bro Bridge today, and he coaches for Poohberry now, Coach Boyd. I talked to Coach Boyd today about what's going on. I want to hear what your thoughts is going on.
going into the season, they look pretty strong to me. You get what I'm saying? I'm thinking, well, Bro Bridge, they're going to come out and do it. These two past losses was a very surprise. To Eunice wasn't that they usually put up a good game against Eunice, but I think who would they played first? I can't remember who they played first, but that was a real shocker.
St. Martinville.
St. Martinville. I'm not nothing against my St. Martinville friends out there, but them Tigers stink. Them Tigers stink, in my opinion.
They said this year's St. Martinville team is the real deal.
It could be. It could be, but Bro Bridge always comes out on top. And when I saw St. Martinville beat Bro Bridge, it shocked me. Bro Bridge is a lot stronger than that. It is not organized right now.
From St. Martinville, so you'd enjoy that one.
All right, fellas. He told me Bro Bridge is going to be all right. He said Bro Bridge played two quality opponents that are going to have really good seasons this year. Right. St. Martinville and Eunice is two teams that are going to make a run in 3A and 4A.
Eunice for sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
So that's what his thoughts were about what's going on with Bro Bridge this year. So we'll see.
Isn't Bro Bridge also in a rebuilding season? They don't have that many.
Hey, you live in the middle of them. Why don't you go find out?
I need to go find out.
Bro Bridge
Connections.
looking for their first win. You don't hear that often.
Right.
They're going to be playing a Turlings Rebel football team. Turlings sitting, looking.
Isaac, look. He's shaking his head already.
Isaac, come on. Come on, pick the hometown team.
I can't.
Bro Bridge versus Turlings.
Turlings.
Turlings. You like Turlings?
Yes.
I'm waiting to see what Sam Bacon says. Sam
Come on,
Bacon,
Sammy, let's go.
where are you leaning? Gary.
Turlings.
Turlings.
I gotta say Turlings. I can't go with the Tigers on that one. Turlings is just way too strong.
Yeah, I think Turlings is going to score a lot of points. And for Eunice to shut out Bro Bridge the way they did.
Like I said, I was following that game. That was a shock. I was like,
when does Bro Bridge get shut out?
Never.
That's my
very seldom. I don't think I've ever seen them shut out other than this. I mean, I don't know.
That was I've seen the score and I'm like, no way. It's not good grief, Eunice.
All right, fellas. Couple 2-0 teams battling it out this week. Can St. Martinville keep their momentum going? Or is that Golden Bear defense the real deal this year? Karen Crow, St. Martinville. Who you like?
I want to say St. Martinville because I happen to sleep with one of the graduates from there, my wife. But I'm going to go with Karen Crow.
Hey, you gotta go with your gut. I am not jumping off that Golden Bear bandwagon until I see them play Edna Core in the Dome this year.
That's
Swallow.
true.
I'm with you on that because I'm gonna tell you, I agree 100% because I think that's what it's gonna be.
Karen Crow and Edna Core.
Karen Crow and the Dome.
Especially if they beat St. John Curtis.
You're right.
West Monroe.
No, West Monroe.
West Monroe, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on,
I gotta go with the same. I gotta go to St. Martin Parish. My people, St. Martinville.
I can't wait to call you Friday night and say, man, that Karen Crow school, man. I can't wait to call you Friday night. And if the Karen Crow loses, turn your phone off, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm going on under the lights page and put. Told y'all. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sam Bacon says Crow in the Dome.
Crow in the Dome. That's right.
Oh, here we go. Cecilia, Northwest. Cecilia scoring a lot of points this year. Northwest gets the win last week over Crowley. Start us off, Big Daddy.
I'll go with Cecilia.
I like Cecilia myself. They're scoring a lot of points this year. Can their defense stop anybody? We will see. I know they put it on Crawley week 1, and then Jennings put it on them.
Right.
Put 59 points up last week. But I like Cecilia. They got a good offense.
Yeah. I think
I think Cecilia because of the offense. But I don't know why every year that I follow Cecilia football, they always had the reason their defense is so weak. The boys in Cecilia are so small. That's why a lot of the side right.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a couple of friends that played for Cecilia, and one was a quarterback, and he said that it just Lloyd.
Hey, I think we lost service. We're frozen on my screen. Let me get out of it.
There we go. We good?
We're back?
Yeah.
okay.
I'm still frozen. You're frozen?
I'm back.
But yeah,
Yeah, we good.
Hey, Grant.
All right, we're good. All right, we're back.
I know that no, there you go, right there.
Go ahead, finish what you had to say.
Nah, I just Cecilia. Every year, I don't know why Cecilia's defense is just small. That's why a lot of teams run over Cecilia. So they must not give them enough food over there or something,
don't feed
man.
them
Just
Hold on. Before we go any further, game of the week honors goes to these next two teams, and this is a game that was scheduled this week. You get game of the week honors in your schedule this week. Bobcats of Eunice, 104 points through 2 weeks to nothing, nada. They got a red hot offense coming in. Sam Bacon, listen to this matchup. Eunice Bobcats versus the Jennings Bulldogs.
Cool. That's gonna be good.
ooh, that's gonna be a good game.
ATN will find the end zone against Eunice. Eunice first touchdown will be allowed this week.
Forgot
But
about ATN on that
but
team.
guess
man.
what,
His
folks?
brothers kicking tail.
it's gonna be a shootout because I think both of these two teams are damn good. Who you like?
Oh man,
I don't see no
forgot-
zero this week.
I forgot about ATN and Jennings. I'm going to stick with Eunice just because of their offense, but they're going to have they're going to have some points scored against them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be just like John Curtis and West Monroe. It's going to be an up and down the field.
And the core?
Yeah, and the car. It's going to be a shootout in the sense of points.
Yep, for sure. I like, until proven differently, if you're going to score 104 points, I'm going to keep picking you.
Yeah,
If you're going to score 104 points in two
games.
and allow nothing, I'm still going to pick you until you prove me differently. So I like Eunice on the road at
On the
Jennings. I think HEN has a big night, but I think Eunice offense has an even bigger night. I think it's going to be a track meet. Eunice gets the win.
I'm with you. I think Eunice is going to take it. I think they're going to be able. Notice the way I'm saying this. They're going to be able to control ATN, but I don't think they're not going to stop him. I think they can control him enough, and I think their offense is strong enough to where they're going to
be keeping him going sideways on the field,
pretty
not
much.
up and down.
Yeah, they're going to just control him the way he's going left and right.
Right.
I know you like Jennings over there.
I do.
I know you like Jennings.
I'm
Come on.
gonna say
area.
this. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think Jennings' defense will stop Eunice, and it's gonna go down to the wire. It's gonna be a game-winning field goal by Jennings.
Game winning
No,
field
it
goal
won't
by
be-
Jennings. Hey?
So that means you're picking Jennings.
Jennings.
I think that you're not going to have the 50 to 70 points for Eunice scored, but it's going to be maybe in the 30s, maybe the 20s, but it's not going to be a horse race like it has been for the past 2
Good guess. Yep.
I agree with you on that.
L-Town stand up. You know what I'm talking about? L-Town stand up. Because the last few seasons they've been standing down. And I hate to say that about L-Town. But could this be the season where L-Town is back? We will find out this week with a quality opponent. Livonia versus St. Helena.
Ooh.
Livonia or St. Helena? A lot of love for them Wildcats.
Wow, that's going to be.
What's your gut tell you, Keith?
Livonia.
You like Livonia?
Yeah, I think so.
I like Livonia myself. I think the Wildcats are going to lose some games this year, but I think they will find a way to win some games this year, and I think this is one where they find a way to win in the end. I like Livonia.
I do too. I think Livonia's, I think they're on their way back. But I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to be a
I think
close
it's gonna be
game,
a close
but
game.
Livonia's going to pull it out.
Livonia. I'm going to go Livonia.
Okay. Let's talk some God's country here. This is the term that my buddy Kobe East uses. Can you guess where God's country is?
Yeah, of course, you asked the guy with the spiritual podcast.
Come on, man.
I have no idea.
You know where God's country is?
No.
Gary Swallow, do you know where God's country is?
Port Barry.
Wait a minute. That's
Wrong
not it, though.
direction.
I know.
Holly Mae, where's God's country? Iota, she says, and that's where they say God's country is in Iota, Louisiana. The Devils and Bulldogs had a couple matchups back in the 90s and in the early 2000s. But Iota coming off of a heartbreaking defeat last week, and what a heartbreaking defeat it was. 5 overtime loss to South Beauregard for the Bulldogs. They're looking to bounce back this week against North Vermilion. That game's going to be on Thursday night, Iota versus North Vermilion. I think Iota, after so much heartbreak last week, comes back and wins this game convincingly.
Iota.
Yeah.
Same here.
I'm with you on that. I think Iota's going to do it.
I think they stay on the losing track, North Vermilion.
Yeah! Look at this man. Who is this?
Hey, man.
This is our
That's it, man.
this is our Corso, man.
That's right.
That's it.
That's cool.
Welsh versus Vanderbilt Catholic. Welsh or Vanderbilt Catholic?
Going Vanderbilt Catholic.
Vanderbilt Catholic. I'm going Vanderbilt Catholic myself.
Yep.
Across the board.
Yep. I'm with you on that.
I'm with it too, Vermilion Catholic. They're strong.
Vanderbilt Catholic.
Yeah, Vanderbilt Catholic.
Yep. Tough matchup last week. Bruley played this game on a Thursday. Rained out in the middle of the second quarter. The score was 18-7, okay? And that game got rained out, had to be moved to Sunday, and that game was finished, and Madison Prep came out on top by a touchdown to win to West Feliciana. A lot of speed over there for West Feliciana. Can Bruley's defense slow down West Feliciana this week? What do you think?
I'm going to go with West Feliciana.
West Feliciana?
Yeah.
I like Bruley's defense on the road after a tough adversity matchup where they had to play 2 different days. Right. That's hard for an opponent to play twice in a couple of days on the body for sure, right. And the mindset. I like Bruley's defense to go down there and find a way against West Feliciana. Tough pick for you, huh?
Yeah, it really is. I'm gonna go Bruley. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna do it. I think
These two were in the playoffs last year, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah. Hope so.
Well, I can't say the word. West
Feliciana.
Feliciana. I'm from Cajun country, so I'm gonna go with Keith on that one. I think they're gonna go ahead and pull that one off.
Nice. Church Point, Battling Bears. Battling Bears are 2-0, folks. They take on a really, really, really good St. Louis football team. St. Louis, Church Point, something's got to give between these two foes. Remember, St. Louis held Kinder to 7 points week 1.
Right.
Both of them didn't play week 2, so
I'm going to go with St. Louis.
You like St. Louis?
Yeah. Playoff team, they seem to. Church Point's up and down, too. So.
Yep. I think this is Church Point's year to shine, but I think St. Louis getting all those transfers in
Right.
from
Yeah.
opposing teams. I think St. Louis will have that much more than Church Point
They'll have the
this week.
athleticism that Church Point, they can pick them off the farm, but it's.
Right.
I mean, I hate saying that, but
corn-fed people.
Yeah.
Man. The fact that it's not just St. Louis's team, and I hate to say it this way, but you got all these transfers from all these schools that were destroyed. You know, you got these
Right.
talented students and ball players coming in.
reminds me of Evangel
Right.
back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
So I got to give the edge to St. Louis.
Yeah.
I really do.
Just
I gotta-
because the other athletes coming in from other
Right,
schools.
exactly. That's if it was
Just
the original teams that they had, I'd give the edge to Church Point. But the way it is now, I'd say it's St. Louis.
yeah.
And St. Louis sound like they stacked. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with them as well. It's just you got an up advantage when you have all them kids come in, and Church Point got to now. Don't get me wrong, the group that's more together might have that might be an edge on it,
Right.
but St. Louis still got the power.
Right. When you got all these kids coming in from other, and it's not the fact that you have just one or two, but you got all of these schools that were devastated by these two hurricanes.
They're on the west side of the state. So
Yeah,
you got
I mean,
Barb coming
yeah,
in. You got
all of that.
all
you
that
know.
coming in there. Barb's always had a good team, all the ways.
Right. So that's going to be hard to beat,
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Moving along, two teams here having down years. Crowley and Marksville both struggling out the gates. Who gets their first win?
I'm gonna go with local being Crowley.
Crowley? I like Marksville.
Oh, that's a hard one. I'll go with Crowley.
I go the same Crowley.
Okay. Erath Vermilion Catholic, that game's still up in the air, so let's skip that one. Iowa, DeRitter, still up in the air. Couldn't find either one. So Notre Dame versus Kaplan, Pios Roll.
Yeah. They always did. No matter.
Pios Roll.
Most definitely.
Yeah, Notre Dame. Notre
Yeah.
Dame is just, and that's just a good football team, man. They just, like you said, they don't win the championship every year, but they're contenders
the playoffs every year.
Yeah, they're contenders.
The
Majority of
winner
the
of that game and the winner further down, that's going to be the champions right there, I think, in my eyes. When Notre Dame plays Lafayette Christian.
Oh, yeah,
that's-
it's gonna be a good one.
that's gonna be a
That's
good.
going to be the championship game right there.
I'm guessing you're gonna be at that one if you predict.
Yeah.
If I can, I will be there with bells on.
Quick pick here across the board. Mamou Sacred Heart.
Mamu.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
really? I'm going Sacred Heart.
I'm gonna go Sacred Heart as well.
Mamou finally gets to play their first game of the season. First game missed because of COVID. Second game missed because of the hurricane. They finally get to play a Friday night football game. A really good football team, Lake Charles College Prep, will take on Kinder. Lake Charles College Prep, too much athletes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lake Charles College Prep because, like it said, they're pulling everything from that whole area.
Yeah, they're getting them.
If it was just Lake, then I would go with Kinder.
I
But
heard Kinder got 4 bar players on their team.
Correct. I heard that.
so that's I mean,
You got a couple things, but I'm with him too. I think Lake Charles College Prep is going
they got more people to choose from in that location.
My gut's saying Kinder, but I gotta go with Lake Charles College Prep.
Okay.
I gotta go with stats on this one over my gut.
Yeah.
All right, the hometown team for 3 of us, and the guy over there that I know he ain't picking them. Pine Prairie will take on the Woodbury Red Devils. Friday night action down in Pine Prairie. Who you like to win that matchup? Keith, don't let me down, Keith. Come on now.
I want to say Port Barry, but they're just they're rebuilding. They're really weak. Young players. I think they might have some junior varsity. I mean, I don't know what their team is, but it's just I'm going to go with Pine Prairie. I hate saying it, just because of building team.
Yep. Well, you lose your best player for an ACL injury.
Right.
your next best player steps up, and you lose him for an ACL. So you're down 2 of your best players on your team, and the rest is history. But on the road against Pine Prairie, if Woodbury does not turn the ball over and cannot give up the big play Friday night, I like the Red Devils in a close one. It might be an ugly defensive struggle, but I like the Red Devils winning some type of 12-7 or 6-0 kind of deal, 8-6.
Yeah,
So I'm going Red Devils.
this is the game that I feel that they have a shot to win. I thought Mamu and Pine Prairie would be the 2 best games that they would have an opportunity to win, and I think, believe it or not, I know these guys know that. I know the coaches know that, and I know everything, because after this week, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Devils, and I'm going to just hope that they can stand together and come out and win one.
I can't see Pine Prairie losing. I'm sorry, I can't see it. It's just, you mentioned Port Barry and you mentioned Pine Prairie. It just, I can't see that, man. I gotta go. I know y'all not gonna like me at the end of the night, but I just can't. I can't go with the Red Devils, man.
We just fed you, and you're gonna go against Port Barry?
Hey,
How rude!
hey, I'm not going home that way. I'm going on the interstate.
They will be looking for you if you go through there. Flick them lights on.
And of course, Jordan's gonna tell him my truck, my ID number, everything.
Yeah.
How about
Dion, look at this, man.
I live in the town, so how you think?
Oh, I'll pray for you tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Battle of Ville Platte, folks? Ville Platte versus St. Ed's. Who you like in this contest?
St. Ed's is Eunice.
Oh, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So disregard that, folks. The battle of the Ville Plations
Yeah, you can
and
say
the
that.
St. Ed's
Yeah.
of the world.
St. Ed's.
You like St. Ed's?
Yeah.
I like St. Ed's myself.
Bill Blatt's had some issues in the past couple of years.
Yeah, they have.
It's so hard to judge a team when you only see them play once right now because of COVID and the hurricane.
Yeah, I was
It's
getting ready to
just-
say the same thing. I mean, I actually have a couple, a student, one of my martial arts students that plays for Ville Platte. And I'm going to tell you, he's talented. And I don't know how it's going to go, but I mean, I'm gonna take a shot. I'm going to go ahead and hope that he wins, Ville Platte. Because he's a good kid, and I want to see him be
There you
successful.
go. That's
St.
the way
Ed.
to do it.
Who you got?
St. Ed.
Man, you trying to win the pot this week, I see. You done did your homework or something. Ascension Episcopal Catholic in New Iberia. 2 great programs there in the lower ranks. This is Division IV football at its finest. 2 teams that have, Catholic New Iberia might be Division III. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Ascension Episcopal moved up to Division III also. I'm tripping tonight, folks.
Come on, man.
2 great programs, Ascension Episcopal Catholic New Iberia. Who you like?
Catholic New Iberia.
You like New Iberia? I think this is New Iberia's rebuilding season, but who knows? We're in week 3 and we're supposed to be in week 5, and we missed the whole week because of the hurricane. So it's who knows what Iberia has, but I'm going with Ascension Episcopal.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joy. I think this is supposed to be their rebuilding year, so I want to say Ascension Episcopal.
Even in their rebuilding year, I think Catholic New Iberia.
Yeah.
I think they're strong enough.
Who is this guy? Quick pick here, Voyles, Lakeview.
Lakeview.
Lakeview. Okay. I like Voyles. Pobario Voyles next week. Under the lights, we'll be cooking for the football team next week. Big Cody Fontenot is cooking up a jambalaya.
I think of Boyles.
I'm going to go with the Voice as well.
Let's see. Franklin Delcom. Who you like?
Welcome.
Delcom. Okay. I like I like Delcom myself.
Me too.
Okay.
Let's go with Delcom. My in-laws do business out there, so I get prop to their home team.
Shout out to your buddy that just joined the stream, Dustin Hale.
Oh, what's up, D?
Yeah. Share the page, Dustin.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about them Point Coupee boys from New Roads, Louisiana. Catholic of Point Coupee had a outstanding game last week against Riverside. I heard Riverside won the game with 2 seconds left to go. A shootout there, 61-57 final score for Riverside's Catholic of Point Coupee. They will take on great, when I say great, a great Episcopal football team from Baton Rouge. I don't know how Catholic of Point Coupee fares in this game against Episcopal, because Episcopal is so damn good, but it's so hard to pick against Catholic of Point Coupee because we get burned every time we do. Catholic of Point Coupee, Episcopal, still thinking about this matchup. Keith?
Point Coupee. Catholic of Point Coupee.
Isaac?
The Baton Rouge team.
Episcopal?
Yeah, Episcopal, yeah.
Gary?
Ah, man, I gotta go with Point Coupee, man. There's just something about them that they just,
They have that fight.
yeah.
They have that heart. Grand Jarrow watching the stream. We're going to say bet on the green. Catholic of Point Coupee.
That's gonna be a good game. That should be a decent game.
Yep. Might come down to the fourth
Yeah,
quarter again.
might come-
Here's a game of the week. Grand Jairo says he wants to go Catholic of Point Coupee, but man, it's going to be a tough game.
Well,
When the
and that's a hometown boy.
says it's going to be a tough game, you know it's going to be a
Yeah.
tough game. Hell, we went Southern Lab last year
I
to
know.
beat Catholic of Point Coupee, and look how that backfired.
You're right.
Faraday, state champs from a year ago. 3A or 2A? One of the two. And they will be playing a surprise team from this year, General Trask. General Trask has started out 2-0. They upset Evangel week 1. General Trash, Faraday. Can General Trash keep their Cinderella run going? Who y'all like?
Faraday.
Faraday?
Yeah, same here, Faraday. I like Faraday.
I think Faraday has too much speed on the field.
Yeah.
I think Faraday finds a way to give General Trash their first loss. Laurelville, Homer Christian,
Louisville.
Yeah, Lowerville.
across the board. West St. Mary, Jeanerette rivalry game here.
Yeah, you're right.
West St. Mary.
West St. Mary, I like Jeanerette.
Man, I like West St. Mary on that one.
And I like Jeanerette.
Okay, split.
I
I like splits. Lake Arthur hit hard by the hurricane.
Right.
They will be playing Pickering Saturday. Lake Arthur, Pickering.
Pickering.
Keep me and you just can't agree tonight, huh? I like Lake Arthur.
The reason I picked Pickering is that Lake Arthur is just going to be upside down. Their students are going to be tired. They're going to be
They've had
stressed
a lot.
out, had a lot of things going on. They're not going to be thinking about the ball game. And I think that's one reason.
I agree. I think Pickering's going to be.
See,
It's not because of the speed and not because of the talent. It's just because of Lake Arthur's upside down right now. The whole area is.
I think opposite. I think Lake Arthur's going to come in here. They want to get their mind off of everything that's going on.
could go either way
And
with
guess
that,
what? They're going to go ahead and put it on the field. I think
go-
Lake Arthur wins.
Yeah, you can go either way with that.
Thursday night football, fellas. Port Allen High School versus Opelousas Catholic High School right here down the road at Donald Gardner Stadium. Port Allen versus Opelousas Catholic. Opelousas Catholic looking to bounce back from a tough loss to Kinder a week ago. Vikings
Yeah.
or Pelicans?
Vikings
Vikings bounce back
at home.
at home. I think this is the year that Port Allen can beat a down OC team, but I think OC makes a big play or two, towards the end, and I think OC will get the win at home. Yep.
I think
the
OC.
home's
OC.
The home's got the being home. I think is going to help them.
Yeah, I think it's
Because you're going to have a lot of
also.
people. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people at the game.
Good.
Oh yeah.
OC.
St. Charles versus East Ascension. Two teams, really good. One in 5A, one in Division 2. So what we got here? St. Charles, East Ascension.
East Ascension.
I like St. Charles until somebody proves me wrong differently. Because the only team that's beat them lately is STM.
I'm with you on St. Charles.
East Ascension. Right when you said it, I was like, yeah, that's
Another split.
That's all right.
Hey, we went away from the Crusaders a week ago and we got burned.
You're right.
Week 1, we went away against the Crusaders and we got burned again. How about Westminster versus Highland Baptist this week?
Westminster.
Westminster.
Not going against the Crusaders again, folks.
Westminster.
JGIN.
They've improved
Yeah, they
quite a bit.
Yeah.
They've improved quite a bit.
Oberlin looks to bounce back from their week 1 loss to Oakdale, and they did not play last week, so that's a long 2 weeks of having to sit and wait for football, Derry. How can I say that? You're coming off a semifinal appearance a year ago, high expectations, and you come into week 1 and get upset by Oakdale. Oberlin will take on Hamilton Christian. I think it's a bad night to be a Hamilton Christian fan. Oberlin.
Yeah, Oberlin.
I want to pull for my fellow brothers, but man, it's not gonna happen.
Final game that we have will be Southern Lab versus Scotlandville. Southern Lab blown out a week ago. Scotlandville, Southern Lab, they match up well athlete-wise. What's going to happen between these two when they meet up?
I'm going to go with Scotlandville.
Scotlandville, me too. I'm gonna go with them as well.
Yeah, Southern Lab, I think, is rebuilding.
But, yeah, they had some issues the first part of the year.
Yeah,
So
I think they're rebuilding everything. So it's
they've always had a decent team,
Yeah.
but you got to have years where they're starting over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
You know, getting the freshmen in and the sophomores and
Okay, but let's pick these matchups in case they do play.
okay.
Okay. St. Thomas More versus Catholic of Baton Rouge. Who you like?
I'm going to say Thomas More.
You like St. Thomas More? I like St. Thomas More also. LSU commit Walker Howard. I think St. Thomas More is on pace to repeat.
I'll agree. I think that's going to be a game to the Acadiana and John
Yeah,
Curtis,
right.
intensity and stuff. But I think St. Thomas more.
I gotta go with Catholic of Baton Rouge. St. Thomas More is strong, but they're also strong as well. And like I said, it's gonna be a tight game, but
If they do play, it's going to be an interesting game.
it will be an interesting game, right?
Yep. Next
do
matchup,
play it.
if they play, Lafayette Christian Academy versus Evangel. Evangel 0-2. Lafayette Christian 1-0. Too much
Lafayette
nights
Christian Academy.
Lafayette Christian Academy.
across the board.
It's going to be.
When
And I don't think it's going to be close.
When I-
I do not think it's going to be close.
When I
After
saw
the loss
Lafayette
last week.
Christian go up to Evangel last year, and Evangel, they're up there for state titles, and when I saw Lafayette Christian go up there last year and beat Evangel, Lafayette Christian is the next Evangel.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
And
Especially the new field they just did.
Yep.
Ooh, that looks good. Boy.
University Lab versus Parkview Baptist. I like ULab.
Parkview Baptist.
That's going to be close. I'm going
ULab.
ULab.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is it, folks. That is it. You want to know how you did last week?
Yeah, how'd I do?
Listen to this.
Must be pretty bad. Because he's laughing. He said, "You want to know how you did?" So that's why. That means you didn't do so good, huh?
Hold on. Let me find it real quick.
Holly, you're supposed to keep me up with all of this stuff, man. You know, whenever he's trying to dog me like that.
My boy Dustin Hill is going off in the comments. Dustin said, "Go Rams, gonna win it again."
Big Wrecking Rams fan.
He said,
He's from
"Go
he went to
Rams."
Indiana.
He said, "Rams beat LCA." Yeah, we know it. We know it. We already picked the Acadiana Wrecking Rams out the gate where you was at. Yep. Last week, folks, Jordan Taylor's picks: 17 wins, 10 losses. Gary Swallow's picks: 18 wins, 9 losses. Congratulations, week 1 winner. Congratulations.
That's the first time I ever won something, man.
Who's going to win it this week? Stay
It's going to
tuned.
be up in the air, man. You got a lot of good picks. Boy. It's going to be one way or the
Yeah,
other.
we were going to see how bad somebody does or how good somebody does. Oh, where are we at? And my questions, and then we'll close this thing out, folks.
All right.
So I'm going to read the questions. Y'all dive into them, and let's get this thing rolling, okay?
All right.
More impressed with who so far this season? Okay? Acadiana beating LCA and John Curtis. St. Thomas More blowing out 2 really good programs, or Eunice putting up the points that they have and their defense not allowing points. Which one of those 3 programs are you more impressed with this season? Starting left to right.
Acadiana.
You like Acadiana?
Just because that they won the state championship last year, they got some returning players, and they got a defensive back playing quarterback this year, and they still belong.
Also something. They lost their quarterback, 1 tailback, 2 tailbacks, and 3. All 3 of them were gone, and the quarterback was gone. And all they did was plug in the next man
Right.
up.
Next
And guess
man
what?
up.
Them boys ran wild at JS Uni Stadium.
Yeah, you're right.
Who you like?
I gotta agree. Acadiana's probably the most impressive. I'm impressed with Eunice.
Yeah, Eunice
but
I'm impressed with,
overall, I think Acadiana's winning like they are. I think,
And I think the teams they beat
Coach
compared to the teams that Eunice played,
Correct.
and the
Oh.
teams that Acadiana beat,
Oh, Mo.
you got to go
Yep.
with Acadiana.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
true.
the way it is.
Coach Tyler, I'm selling squares like I'm selling. Everybody's buying squares in the room.
That's right.
That's it.
I think I like how y'all say Acadiana, but putting up 100 and some points in 2 games, I don't care how bad the team is. That's still impressive to
74
show.
points against one team. So
Right, yeah, but and that does too. But
On a head
It
coach's
just-
debut,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it just I think that's impressive.
Dustin
That's,
Hale said the real Veer.
The real. right.
Yeah. So you like Eunice, you like Acadiana, you like Acadiana.
yeah.
All right, tell me something. Best defensive line in the state, is it Acadiana? After what you saw Sunday? The best
Oh.
defensive line in the state. Have you seen a front 7 play like them boys played?
Not in the third quarter like that.
not
One,
holding that
one
time,
possession
yeah.
in the third quarter. Come on,
Yeah.
against the
1 minute,
nationally ranked
1
team?
minute of time of possession in the third quarter
Right.
for John Curtis. 4 minutes total in the second
Right.
half.
No, I gotta say that's when you first of all, they call them boys, and yeah, but those guys are
they're
men.
They're men.
Those guys are men, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this
They-
year I haven't seen a high school football team play like that and control a high-powered offense like John Curtis. John Curtis.
That is a legend in the state of Louisiana.
Right. I mean, that's so. Acadiana to me is probably the best line so far. I've seen.
Acadiana's the next
Yeah,
legend.
I gotta say, it's just my boy D's probably going crazy that I'm finally joining on that bandwagon of Acadiana, but the whole team to 4 minutes, that just
The thing of it
phenomenal
is,
for a
it's not
defense
just
to
one
do that.
person doing it. It's the whole.
No, it's the whole
team.
team.
They lose 2 running backs, a quarterback, and some defensive people, and they plug in new players, and they're still playing just as good football as they did a year ago when it was wiped through the whole state.
The
Come on.
strength of this team is definitely defense. When you return 9 of the 11 starters on a state championship football team, hello, repeat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But we'll see. We got a long way ahead.
yeah.
Long road ahead.
They got
Yep.
4 more games scheduled right now, so we'll see what happens.
It took 40 years for this matchup to happen. In your honest opinions, when will we see it happen again?
I hope soon, because I think they realize how these games help both of them. John T. Curtis said it earlier. He says they're going to learn from this. They're going to get better. Acadiana said the same thing. They're going to get better. When you see these powerhouses, these juggernauts playing against each other, it only gets them better.
Let's just
So,
look at Texas.
yeah.
How many different teams in Texas travel? And they got a lot farther to travel than we do. They'll travel 100, 125 miles to play a top-notch team. So Louisiana's starting that. They got Evangel playing teams like this. They're not just playing – Evangel's a big school. But then you got John Curtis that's pulling out from the area. Now Acadiana's playing them. I mean, that's the best way to do it. To improve your organization is the only way of doing it.
And what's good about that too is you starting to pull teams from Acadiana and from John Curtis and all these areas.
Right.
It helps these kids out for when they go to college, if they go to college, and eventually if they go to the pros.
Right.
Because if you just say one area, yeah, you're traveling, but you're not seeing other parts, and this helps
It's
them
not
with
just
that
going to the pros per
experience.
se, but you get a full scholarship to go to college. You can get an education.
You go all
get-
over the country.
You can work.
Correct.
Because a lot of these kids aren't going to be able to afford college,
Well, true.
and so if they can get a scholarship, even a partial scholarship, education they need to be able to better.
But
their
you're
lives.
looking at these teams that are actually, so I mean, you've got teams now from Louisiana that are playing schools in Texas and Arkansas and Mississippi and all that.
Right.
Like, they're starting to see how important these games are, these challenges.
It's like a high school AAU teams.
correct.
They're traveling around
Right,
the
that's
local
right.
area, not across the country, but local.
Yep. Well, let's talk throughout the state of Louisiana real quick. What's the biggest obstacle you have noticed so far through 3 weeks, in your opinion, starting left to right?
I think it's a 2-part deal. We've had 2 hurricanes in less than a month hitting the state of Louisiana. Lake Charles is pretty much nothing but rubbish. But yet they're getting together, and the high schools are starting to play. I got Barb playing with other schools, but then you got Lake Charles College Prep staying together and playing a team. COVID is not helping out Maddow's issue.
Yeah, because look, Mamu had to cancel their game.
Yeah, I mean, you got teams canceling because of the hurricane, but you also got teams canceling because of COVID.
Right.
So
And-
it's a 2-part deal.
And before y'all jump on that, and let me tell you how hard tonight was to make this show possible, because you have a schedule that's online that you can go off of.
Right.
And guess what? We'll be picking the wrong games. We'll be picking games that aren't even going to be happening this
Me and
week.
Jordy communicated.
Yeah.
I was, okay, where are we going? Well, I don't know, because they've had to play out-of-conference games because of filling the gaps, because these teams, these schools aren't even playing ball, or they had to reschedule. We're supposed to be in, week 5, and we're only in week 3?
Yep.
Correct.
And most of it's been missed because of the hurricanes.
Yep.
So
And the schedule conflict, was it last week? I thought Bro Bridge was playing Friday, and that's a local game we try to go to. And when I told Jordy that, George's like, no, they're playing Eunice, Bro Bridge playing Eunice, and everything that I was looking at, it was still had a double schedule.
This one
And I
happened.
was like,
These two guys
man.
went to the John Curtis game on Sunday.
Right.
We got
Yeah,
we got
we
a
never
game
heard
playing
of that.
on Saturday this year.
We had a Wednesday game, a Thursday game, a Friday game, Saturday, Sunday. Can we see games this year on a Monday or a Tuesday?
Oh, most
Oh,
possible,
definitely.
yeah.
I bet you can.
Pros are doing it. They had a game tonight.
These situations with COVID and all of this stuff going on, I mean, I'm just a very big fan of high school football.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see all of this happening, we were talking about that shortage of referees because of the COVID situation, where you used to have, and I think Jordy said the number 1,200 or so
was cut
in
in
the
half.
state. It was cut in half to only 600 officials. how can you do that? I mean, so you have to spread that. You got we were talking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I never heard of a Sunday game, but guess what? We seen it this week, this past weekend.
We got what game coming up Saturday.
Right.
Somebody's playing this
Yeah.
Saturday. So
You
we
know,
have a
crazy.
lot of Thursday games this week. We have a lot of Friday games this week, and we have some Saturday games this week. So
Let's go to
high
the
school football.
Let's go to the Sunday game though. Did they have a lot of people at the John Curtis Acadiana game on that Sunday?
They traveled well.
Yeah,
you know,
John
and
Curtis.
that-
John Curtis had a bunch of people
You know,
there.
a lot of people might say, well, look, that Sundays for NFL, Saturdays, and we're starting to see a lot more people care about the high school level because all them people could have stayed home and watched the NFL, but they said, look, we're going to go support our hometown boys
Right.
Oh, most
and take
definitely.
care of our boys right there. So that's bringing a big impact around to bring, you know, people out about on weekends to help their kids.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you something too. I love football, period. And I mean, Jordy's been knowing me for a long time, and all my life I've been really a big football fan. But there's nothing like, to me, like I love high school first, college second, pro third. Okay, and you might say, well, how can you say that? Oh, I'm a big Saints fan, all this other stuff. But when you see high school kids coming together and working towards something, that makes it worthwhile, because that's whenever you're teaching them, you're molding them
Right.
into men.
Right.
When they go to the next level, not all high school players go to college.
Right.
But when you see those young men go to college and they get to that next level and they do that, not all college players are going to be pros.
Right.
I mean, that's, you know, you got a select few. And then the pros, I hate to say this, they become multimillionaires and think they're better than everybody else, so they're really, you know, I'm not going to
Some
play
of them.
100%.
Some
Not
of them.
all of them, but I mean, I'm just saying. But that's what you see. But so to me, high school and college are your strength
Right.
of the sport.
Well, I spent a month in Michigan this past month, and my dad was telling me that a lot of the high school teams are going to 8-man ball. And I have a nephew, whatever. He's my cousin's son, and he plays quarterback and wide receiver on an 8-man Marion High School football team.
Right.
And it's amazing that it works out well, because they're not towns like we consider towns. They're townships, and they're municipal municipalities or whatever you call it. So they're small groups. So they don't have the students to pull from to make bigger teams, and it's a neater game. It's a faster game.
We have an 8-man football program at Birchman's Academy that's won 3 state championships.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, so I mean that's great. I understand what you, and it's exciting.
It's really cool because they come together more. It's cooler up there. I mean, it was in the 40s. I was mowing my dad's grass last Thursday. It's 41 degrees. So it reminds me of when I was younger. I couldn't play ball. My brothers could play, but I couldn't play football. So I was in the band, or I was in other activities during it. And it reminded me how much that sport reminded me of the togetherness with the kids and the parents and everything else. It was kind of neat.
So, fellas, I have 2 very important questions here, and it might take some dissecting to figure these 2 out. So I'm going to let y'all tackle these questions. I have my own theory on both of them, but I'm going to let y'all attack these 2 questions. We talked about COVID, and we don't know if another hurricane is coming, because we're near the end, but we don't know if there's something else on the way.
There's one coming.
There's
Yeah.
one coming. So
one
get
coming.
ready.
Well, I heard they heard about the one that's coming. They saying that there's 2 cold fronts coming, so that might help out. But that's what they said about Delta.
Delta.
So
You don't know.
All I know is that something's forming out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So my question for y'all will be, number 1, how will district champions be decided this year if games are canceled? That's my first question. And my second question will be, how will playoff seeding go when some teams play more games than others this year because of canceled games? So whoever wants to go take a crack at it first, it's a lot to digest and break down.
I think
what do y'all
what's going to happen is something like the college basketball season this year, where they played, everybody qualified for the playoffs or whatever, and then they never finished. You got I heard interview with Acadiana's coach. He's got 4 games scheduled, and 2 I think opened
Right.
open end game and days. So it just depends. And it's not, the thing of it is conference isn't going to be, I wouldn't think, be considered too much this year because you're not going to be playing conference teams, just like the baseball did this year.
The district. So your take on it is that they shouldn't have district champions this year because it won't.
It won't be. You're not going to be playing conference teams. You're going to be playing teams that are not in your conference, are lower or higher than you are in your district or your class, or depending on what's going on. So it's going to be going by record and points scored, probably. I would think.
It would have to go by points scored because, if you only have 4 games, if you only play 4 games, you're not going to have the points. But
You're not going to have the record to be able to.
It's not going to. You're not going to have. It's going to have if you pull up 74 points, like you said, Eunice. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Well, let me throw a stat out to you. When we're talking about playoff brackets and it gets down to it and we're deciding on who the 1 seed is in 5A, okay? Follow me here. Let's say I'm just going to throw a name out there, okay? So let's say a Hineville is in 5A and Hineville finishes 8-0. Okay, cool. Let's say Acadiana finishes 5-0. Doesn't play those last 3 games. Are you going to put the 8-0 Hineville team, or are you going to put the 5-0 Acadiana team as the 1 seed this year? You know who the better you know who the better team is, but how you think LHSAA is going to decide this conflict?
Points.
Points.
Points and the strength of teams that they played.
That's all.
That's
Strength.
the strength of schedule. It's pretty much stuff like almost like
the college
a lot
ball.
of the college balls do. But the thing about it is that I agree with Jordy. If you have a team that plays 8 games and you have a team that plays 5 games
Or less.
where are you going to position? Now, I'm going to tell you my point. I agree with strength of schedule and everything like that because I'm going to tell you, and that's why I think it was important for Acadiana and John Curtis to play.
Yes.
Because when you look at that, you look at the strength of schedule. I don't care what anybody says. That was a mega game. And
Like this other mega game
right.
we're playing this week.
Correct. So I think strength of schedule has a lot to do with it. But, I can see the points. But you got to look at the strength of schedule. If you're going against someone that is John Curtis and Acadiana, that game there, win or loss, made their
put in a conversation. Whoa, this team is strong. Yeah, they're only playing 5 games, but this team that played 10 games, or if they played smaller teams that are weaker teams,
Correct.
you can't put that. You can't say, well,
Just
they're
like-
better than
It's just like
Acadiana.
putting Acadiana against Eunice. Granted, Eunice scored 100 and something points, but the teams they played were a weaker team
Correct.
Well, let's
than Acadiana played.
a better scenario. Eunice has the most points scored out of any 4A team by the time we get to the 4A brackets. But you got Edna Core that's undefeated. So who do you put first? You got to go with
Edna Core.
Edna Core because of
well, they championships.
Yeah.
But
that.
not
and
just that, and the strength of people who they've played
Right.
Yeah.
as well.
I'd
you know,
go
that's going to be.
strength of schedule over points any day.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I would consider that too.
Yeah. Coach Stevens says power rankings will even everything out.
Okay.
Right. That's basically strength
I'm
of schedule.
willing. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we both agree that if we have district games canceled this year, that district championships will go out the window.
I think for the kids and for the schools, it's important. Hey, we were the district champs.
Right.
But for the playoffs, I think that's going to kind of be.
That's not going to be, and that's going to be on a piece of. It's not going to be on the paper.
I don't think so.
I think the strength of schedule, is going to be number one in power rankings, like Coach said, and that's
Yeah.
going to determine what your seed's going to be.
Correct. I think so too.
All right, let's talk about a couple more things and then close this thing out. In your honest opinion, I'm not sure if you've been got a hold of the first 2 weeks, and I'm not sure if you got a hold to the first 2 weeks, but I got a feeling I know where you're leaning. I'm not sure where you two are leaning. Who should be pushing the panic button heading into week 4, in your opinion?
Ooh.
LCA.
No. LCA is fine.
Who they got the rest of the year?
Notre
Decent
Dame.
teams.
Notre Dame. The rest of the way.
They're all right.
Pushing the panic button.
Here's mine. I think Bro Bridge is
Okay.
a good opinion for pushing the panic button. Bro Bridge is 0-2. They just got shut out a week ago, and that they're not playing to the Bro Bridge standard of play that they're accustomed to playing. So I think Bro Bridge, if they lose to Turlings this week, watch out for how the community responds.
I think, bro, in the opinion of Bro Bridge, living in that town, there's always going to be support of the Tigers, win or lose.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing of it is, we're not used to this losing streak.
Yeah.
Turlings, going into that, I don't think they pushed the panic button after Turlings because Turlings is a strong school. I don't know who they play the week after. I think it's Cecilia or so. Like I said, there's so many. If they go and play, if it is Cecilia, and they go ahead and play Cecilia, and their rival beats them, they need to start. They need to start looking at what they're doing because then you go to an 0-5 situation. That's what panic button. But for week 3, it depends on that next week if they're stronger or what. Because Turlings every year is strong. Bro Bridge always has trouble with Turlings. If I'm not mistaken, I think we only beat Turlings in the last couple of years, and Turlings always.
Turlings always had a decent team.
Right. So, but the panic button, since you brought up Bro Bridge, I don't think it's a panic button yet, but they're crawling to it.
Yeah.
They're crawling to it.
Gary?
Man, I'm gonna tell you. I believe that, and it's not around here, but you look at the panic button of teams like Evangel.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, yeah. That's
And
another issue.
Evangel's, not used to losing.
Yeah.
And, where are they going to be put at? I mean, I'm sorry. You look at these teams that are used to winning state championships, are used to being all this, but they're not right now. I mean, and that's the first one that came to mind when he said, who's hitting the panic button? I said, I think Evangel is hitting the panic button right now.
0-2, aren't they?
They're
0-2.
0-2.
They got shut out a week ago.
Right. So you look at all of these games like that.
That makes more sense. To me.
Those are the ones that are
LCA.
they're used to, and their support. I mean, you got people that are used to going and winning. They're looking at you like going, "Why are you not winning?"
Evangel, back in the day, Evangel was like a college team.
Oh, most definitely. They still are.
They still are,
to a
but I
point.
mean, in the sense of how I remember them when I was in school and right out of school, they traveled like a college team would travel.
Oh, most definitely. They look like a college team.
Right.
And to add on what Gary was saying, though, if you're so used to winning and that's all you feel for the past couple of years, and then when you start losing, you got to try to find that way
years.
back,
Right.
and that way back is hard. And what is look, the season got cut short.
Right.
I think we went to 8 games. It was supposed to be 10 games. It's funny how 2 weeks play in the matter because you didn't know with COVID if you were going to play, so coaches had to figure out a way to have a practice by following guidelines, and they couldn't have a full contact practice. And that missed time of practice, that missed time of preparing, that's why a lot of these good
you can
teams
see
are
that in the
messing
college
up.
game right now. You can see that in the college game.
You can see that in the pro. You can see that in the pros.
And pros.
You can see that in the pros. Because look, man, I'm trying to off my head. There was no preseason. Look, I'm shocked that the Bills are winning. All these teams, the Bills, the Titans, all these teams, the Dolphins.
The Dolphins are winning.
Well, you got more injuries too.
Right.
The more injuries are coming out big time because they haven't had a chance to do their warm ups and their prep.
But that's what it is. You're looking at high school. Okay, Port Barry has their 2 best players go out.
ACLs, both of them.
You're not conditioning your players enough or in the same manner that you have. And that's
You're
all across
rushing
the
the
board.
game.
High school, college, and pro. they're not getting that. So you're seeing that affect a lot. But who's it affecting more? It's affecting your big powerhouses that
Right.
you're used to having all this.
Evangel.
But Evangel Christian Academy is the one that I think is the one that's going to be pushing that panic button
Oh yeah,
more than
they
anybody.
ain't pushing it now.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's not
only 2
working.
weeks in. They're not pointing on it so hard that they're making it squeal.
Right, you're right.
All right, fellas. Let's go into our final question and then get on out of here. Sure, and appreciate y'all coming on down tonight. Keith, Lloyd,
No problem.
and Mr. Isaac.
Mr. Eyes.
Man, it's tired. He can't remember
I was
names.
waiting for something bad, man. He had that look on his face.
Yep. Holly always being a great supporter in the back. None of this is possible without Mr. Gary Swallow offering up his late night. I know he's ready to get the Kings.
Probably. Well, I actually stopped there for lunch, so I might just hit something to go and go home.
None of this is possible without him allowing us to do this in his studio. And what a look it is tonight. Thanks to Lloyd and thanks to Isaac for bringing their equipment and making it look like a badass studio over here in Tiger Rocks Martial Arts in Opelousas, Louisiana. Once again, my name is Jordan Taylor, sitting here with Keith Croget, Gary Swallow, Isaac Hayes, Mr. Lloyd's in the back, and Holly's in the back. Everyone at home that tuned in to watch, thank you for liking and sharing and commenting. Greatly appreciate it. Final question of the night, fellas. We just saw Acadiana versus John Curtis this weekend. Dream matchup. We finally got it. We get to see Edna Core versus John Curtis Saturday. Catholic of Baton Rouge STM. So we're getting to see these dream matchups is what I'm trying to so is another dream matchup that you would like to see in the future would be. Starts with you. I got one. I got one.
Man,
I got two for you. And I'm gonna let
surprise
y'all
me on
answer
that one.
yours.
Go ahead. I'm gonna think about this a minute.
You want me to start it off?
Sure, I mean, that's fine.
Okay. My first one would be the University of Lafayette Christian Academy. I would like to see Lafayette Christian Academy go model versus model against the University of Edna Core.
That would be a good.
That would be a good
that would-
match,
Yeah.
It would have to be in Lafayette because that's what I would go to.
I would be there.
My next matchup would be the St. Thomas More Cougars go and play the Edna Core Cougars.
Right.
That is my two dream matchups there. Lafayette Christian and St. Thomas More go play Edna Core for all of us fans.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
You know, that's hard when you talk about dream matchups. That's kind of hard because West Monroe used to be, and they still are, a very strong school, but they're vulnerable right now.
I was thinking about Neville and West Monroe,
Right.
or Neville and
They playing this week.
They play
they're playing this week.
They
So that'll be
play
a
this
good game for this week.
But whenever you're talking about, I'd love to see St. Thomas More go against, I'd like to see them go against teams like Acadiana or St. Thomas More travel and go against John Curtis.
Right.
Someone out of, and I'm not sure what divisions and everything that they're in, but go against some of these powerhouses. I mean, I'm sorry. I would go watch St. Thomas More and John Curtis.
That would be a good game.
I would go watch, West Monroe and Acadiana or Lafayette Christian or
Right.
St. Thomas. I would watch these games because I think they're part of that dream matchup thing. But man, that's hard to say. But Edna Core, I'm gonna tell you, and Jordy hit it. Edna Core can compete with anybody and beat them. That's you're talking about a university of this and university of that. Edna Core is, when you got a chance to go for 5 state championships in a row.
Yeah.
That's John Curtis-esque.
Or either that or that's evangelist.
Evangelist, or whatever. I mean, but that's hard
John
to pick.
Curtis and
Yeah, it is hard
Evangel are
to
the
pick.
top two schools in the state.
Right.
Well, I've been here 35 years, so that's there. And then you put in the car in the mix.
Right.
That's the top three right now. And Acadiana. But I mean, that's four. I mean, you can go around here forever and name the groups that.
Well, just pull the state championships from last year.
Right.
The state champions from last year. You just pull those out, and I'm talking about from Washita Christian to all of that, all the way up to Acadiana. You just pick out, okay, you got these two, that's two. Figure out they're all great matchups because we were talking about that last year. How many blowouts did we have in the state championship games last year? There were quite a few.
Yeah.
Acadiana was tight, and what was the other one, Jordy?
7 of the 9 state championships were blowouts.
Yeah, 7 of the 9. So you had
when I was watching it, I mean, I was kind of flipping through the thing. And it's like, no way.
Yeah.
This team got blown out this bad.
So you start, okay, let's take this one and play against that one. Well, Jordy, let's have another week and let's have the top divisional
Right.
teams play
Well,
against the top, class.
Well, my thoughts is, okay, Archbishop Rummel won the title last year
Right.
in Division 1. Where would Archbishop Rummel be playing if it wasn't for the split? 5A.
5A.
Okay, Division 1 state champ. Oh, next week, you will play the 5A state champ.
Right.
Let's crown an ultimate champion right there. 4A, St. Thomas More, Edna Carr.
Right.
Wichita
Carr.
Christian versus Oak Grove,
Right.
1A. Fairy Day versus LCA, 2A. We're going to crown the ultimate state champion in those divisions. And
And it will give us an extra week of football. You
Extra
think about
week,
it.
yeah.
Who grabs about an extra week of football? No one.
And that way, people won't complain about the split.
Right.
If you got your state champions, I know it's a hassle and everybody's gonna think Jordan you're crazy, but you got your state champions. All right, let's call it a national championship for Louisiana or something in that nature. And now you got, all right, Archbishop Rummel, Acadiana. Let's find out who's the best 5A team in the state.
Right.
Edna Carr, St. Thomas More, who's the best 4A team in the state.
And so on and so forth.
Who's gonna win the second trophy?
Right.
Right.
Okay, y'all both state champions. Now prove who's the better team in the state.
Correct.
But
In that division.
we'll never see that, Gary.
No, in our lifetime, I don't think we'll ever see that again because once they split it, I don't see it going back. And I hate to say it that way because back in the day, everybody was saying, oh, well, the private schools and the parochial schools and all, they have the advantage. Well, yeah, they did. But Evangel played West Monroe year after year. And every once in a while, West Monroe beat them. But the
Yeah.
majority of the time, it was Evangel.
Seen a crazy stat.
I'd like to see him right now this year. See how what that would be this
Seen
year.
a crazy stat before I came in here. Everybody talks about the dominance of private over public. General Trask upset over Evangel week 1. Acadiana over John Curtis. They said 2 public schools take down 2 powerhouse Catholic schools. So how do you feel about private being better than public?
Well,
They said private always had the edge over public, but 2 teams just got knocked out. That was powerhouses.
I don't agree with that 100%. I agree with this. This statement states that the private and parochial schools, the Christian schools, everything has an advantage in the long stretch of
Right.
it. But every once in a while, you're going to have a powerhouse public school that's going to come in there and
Yeah.
but it's you got to look at it in 2 ways. Each year is different, but if you look at the overall stretch, it was dominated
Right.
by the private schools and Christian
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah.
Boy, that was deep, huh?
Keith
Yeah.
Crochet, any last words before we get out of here?
No, I just hope it's going to be a safe and good week for football.
Yeah.
Gary Swallow, final words.
Most important thing is the safety of the kids. Want to make sure everybody stays safe. Make sure we have good weather, which I think we will because I'm tired of hurricanes and stuff anymore. But safety and, just make sure everybody stays healthy because, football's a violent sport. But, it's if you do it right and do it with with passion, I think you can get through it. So just everybody stay safe.
Final words, Mr. Isaac.
Just thank y'all for letting me and Lloyd be a part of the program tonight. Real fun. Haven't done this in a good while. Just talk sports, with working and doing a lot of ministry stuff. You just don't get time to sit down and talk with sports. And I really enjoyed it, guys. Thank y'all for letting us be part of your program tonight.
Well, we love having you, man. Thank
Not
you
a
for
problem.
doing that.
Yep.
We appreciate y'all.
Close us out in prayer, my
Sure
brother.
thing. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we just thank you for allowing us to come here tonight and have a good conversation. Lord, we pray, Lord, as to bless all our listeners that are on this this Facebook Live and beyond this Facebook Live. Lord, we pray that you would touch these people, Lord. Let them have a good week, Lord. Every school, every athlete that we mentioned about tonight, Lord, I pray for their protection, their safety, Lord. Without you, there is nothing, Lord, that we can give honor and glory to. We just want to thank you for protecting. And, Lord, let us have a good week of football. Let us have a good time of fellowship and friendship, Father God. And let us, Lord, go out stronger than we came. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Very good.
Thank you again, Isaac.
No problem.
For our executive producer in the back, Mr. Lloyd, thank you again, brother. Highly revere, always being a great supporter. Those that tune in, thank you once again. All right, fellas, let's get on out of here. Week 3 high school football. We will be back Friday night for a recap show. Check us out at 11 p.m. Friday nights for some recap action of the games. Should be some great matchups this week. We can't wait to see what's going on. But let's get on out here. My name is Jordan Taylor. This is Keith Crochet. This is Gary Swallow. That is Isaac Hayes. Lloyd in the back, Holly in the back. This is Under the Lights, Week 3 edition. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a good night.